Bana Weep Niddy Bong, and welcome back to my channel where we talk about all things Transformers and Transformers action figure related. And it's here, it's finally here. Wow, I'm so happy to finally have my grubby little mitts on the Transformers Cross Back to the Future IDW comic. I actually went to the comic store to pick up two other comics, Transformers comics. I thought the end of 84 and also issue number 3 of My Little Pony was going to be in, but no, the Transformers one was in with Back to the Future, so I was very surprised to actually pick this up. For some reason I thought it was coming out in December, so very happy to have this in my hands now. For those of you who were not aware of this comic has come to us because Transformers and Back to the Future have crossed over. I think Back to the Future is celebrating a birthday this year, and they've crossed it over with Transformers. There's also figures to support this crossover as well, which is really nice. I'm really disappointed they haven't done any to support the Terminator crossover, because there was some really interesting figures in that. But we are getting a Gigawatt, and I think we're actually getting that next month now, so I've got my pre-order in for that, so you will definitely see a review for that figure on this channel. Let's start off with this beautiful, beautiful cover. I've seen this cover for a few weeks now. If you look at me up on Instagram, you can see that I've had this cover posted there for a while after I saw it. Definitely my favorite. It's like one of the least rare covers in this whole thing, but definitely my favorite, and actually does speak to what goes on within the comic itself. And the artwork in the comic is very similar to the artwork that you see here, where it's almost the kind of cutesy version that we would get in with My Little Pony, but maybe with a little bit of a darker tint to it as well. I really actually like the artwork in this comic. I think it's really, really, really well done. I love the version of Soundwave here on the front, also the version of Frenzy. Some people were saying that they weren't happy with the way that Marty and the Doc and Biff were depicted in this. I quite like it, you know. I can, especially for a crossover, I think it's really, really nice. Story on this, I'll start with no spoilers. So the story is really, really interesting. I actually really, really appreciate the story on this. As always with these crossovers, it's a really great callback from Transformers to Back to the Future. There's some nice little lines, some nice little bits of comedy in there. Would I say to pick this up? Yes, I would say to pick this up. This is a great start to it. Almost as good as the beginning of the Transformers versus Terminator. So straight off, issue 1, very, very interesting. From here on in, spoilers alert, I'll be going deep into spoilers. Let's crack this bad boy open then and have a look. Let's start with the alternative covers that we could have got with this one. So the alternative covers that we could have got were all here on the back. So you can see there that we have cover A. I went with cover B because I thought that was really, really nice. There's a retailer incentive A and B cover as well, one of the actual figure that we're getting. Then there was these other ones that were even more. The Scorpion Comics ones are very, very nice. I've not seen those at all. Obviously New York Comic Con happening at the moment as well, so you got a New York Comic Con exclusive there, and I really like that one with Gigawatt on stage with Marty's band. Very, very cool. And then you also got Big Country's wraparound cover as well, so they did a hell of a lot of covers for this, depending on which one you want, but very, very cool. Story itself, so the story itself opens, it's written by Kevin Scott. Also opens up with a open letter from Dr. Emmett Brown saying that the space continuum is full of infinite possibilities and alternative timelines. And basically what it's saying is that these include events and histories that could have happened, should have happened, may have happened, but then been erased from existence and all these kind of things. So it's basically setting up the story as a should have happened, could have happened, don't take it too seriously, who knows, maybe it happened and got erased from existence. Similar to the way they set up the My Little Pony one, really. On the next page, we get all of the people who are included within this comic. So we get Marty, Doc Brown, Biff, Bumblebee, Optimus Prime, who, because of this colouring, I thought was a shattered glass version when I opened it, but no, it's not. With it saying alternative timelines and alternative dimensions, I thought that could have been an interesting take to throw in, that the Autobots are actually the bad guys in this one. Would have been interesting, but no, that's the normal one. He just looks a little bit shattered glassy. Rumble, they got the wrong name there for some reason. IDW must have misprinted that. Then Ravage, Megatron, Soundwave, and Starscream as well. So they're the main characters within this. And the comic book itself opens up with the classic scene from the original movie where the Libyans are chasing Marty. But the twist here is, one, it's narrated by, I think it's probably narrated by either the Doc or Gigawatt here, but we see Ravage is actually watching on, and the idea is that they are watching on, trying to find something to help them with their battle against the Autobots. They've actually just woken up from their slumber on the Ark, and they're trying to find something that can help them in their battle. And then suddenly, after Frenzy saying there is nothing here that can help, the DeLorean hits 88 and boom, it's gone. You can see Rumble's face is like, oh my god, what the hell? Then Soundwave does an analysis via Ravage and finds that there's time displacement particles, and basically that they've just done a time travel. So understanding that they've done a time travel, Megatron's like, ooh, I'd like a piece of that. So then they are told to basically get the technology from the humans. So they go and follow them back to the classic Lions estate on Hill Valley, and then Frenzy opens up his arms to start a fight to try and get it. Out of nowhere then, of course, Bumblebee comes in to save the day, as Bumblebee tends to. There's a really cool looking fight between these guys. Nice bit of twisted metal as he gets pummeled in the face with Frenzy's pile drivers there right into his grill. Ravage is attacking. At the same time, Bumblebee's on like on a call to Prime whilst in a battle, and he's kind of like, I ain't got too much time for this. Prime basically tells him you need to get the hell out of there and also make sure that we stay hidden, because at this time the Autobots are trying to stay as hidden from people as possible. So he's winning the fight. Ravage then turns back into a cassette, and the Doc and Marty tried to pick the cassette up. Obviously it's the 80s, let's find out what's on a cassette. Could be a cool mixtape or something, but what happens is Bumblebee instead runs the cassette over, crunch, and Marty tries to tell the Doc that there was no driver and that car must have had a will of its own, but they just kind of ignore it. At this point then, we get the cool little where are you going, and all of the stuff that we got actually from the end of the Back to the Future movie, and the Doc goes in for a little bit of time travel, and the Marty reminds him that it's going to be a little bumpy on re-entry, which is just the classic line from the movie. Bumblebee witnesses this and realizes, hey, something's not right here, and then Marty goes to sleep. Cool on this page as well is that we get a little to see Hound as well in the background, who wasn't listed on the front cover, but you can see it's a very G1 looking Hound. What we then see is that when Marty wakes up, and it's his dad who wakes him up, so once they are awake, we can actually see, to his horror, that they are now in a completely dystopian nightmare where everybody has the Decepticon logos on the back of their orange jumpsuits. We also see Blitzwing towering over everybody there, and they are taken to the camps to work. And what it looks like is that they are in an Energon camp, obviously producing Energon cubes for the Decepticons, and we see that part of this camp is run by the Decepticons, the Constructicons, and over the top we also see Thundercracker zooming past over the camp to see what's going on. Really nice scene there, right in front of the clock tower from Hill Valley. Very, very nice. I absolutely love this scene. Such a really cool looking thing, and we see a shadowy character kind of overlooking everything that's going on. The shadowy character, of course, is Mr. Biff Tannen. Marty kind of has a little bit of back and forth with him, and as he is answering Biff back, at that point Starscream lands, and we get the best scene in the entire comic so far, where he does the think McFly think, but on Biff. So you can see think human think. Absolutely brilliant. Starscream doing the think McFly think to Tannen is absolutely great. Marty decides he's going to try and bust out the camp, so he gets a bin lid, chucks it at Starscream's head. Starscream's get pissed as always, and Marty, of course, even in a dystopian future, Marty McFly can find a skateboard or a variation on a skateboard. Nice. So he finds a skateboard, goes skating, and then skateboards his way away from Starscream. At this point, he does his classic climb onto the side of a truck and use that to propel yourself forward. So he climbs onto the side of the Constructicons and then propels himself forward. But out of nowhere comes the DeLorean, and of course DeLorean saves the day, smashes into Starscream, sending him smashing into some fertilizer. Of course, Starscream went smashing into some fertilizer, then pulls up in front of Marty, and of course it transforms into Gigawatt, of course, and then we have to be continued. So really cool, really interesting, really nice ending there. I really like the story on this so far. I like the time travel twist. I like the dystopian future where the Decepticons have obviously gone back in time and managed to change shit up and then get everything that they want and enslave the human race. Really interesting, really well done to the guys at IDW. Love all the Back to the Future callbacks in this. Another movie that I absolutely love. If we look at the next issue, here we have a really fantastic cover there with the Doc, Marty and Gigawatt. We also get a look at the other covers that we have already seen on a smaller scale on the back. Really, really nice photos, and we also get an advert for Lock and Key. So all in all, fantastic, really, really nice. I've been excited for this, and it's met all of my expectations so far. Nice bit of comedy and some really nice storytelling in it as well. Of course, I will be covering the other 3 issues on this channel, but I definitely recommend that you go out and pick this bad boy up as soon as possible. Guys, if you're new around here, please give me a like, a share and a subscribe, and of course let me know your thoughts on this down in the comments, and I'll see you in my next video. Alright, in a bit. Peace!